Welcome to Caffeine and Octane, part of our ADSTV segment. Today we have some friends. We have Zahid and Qhalis over here from NoEqual. We're going to do some riding. Let's get going.
This is the beauty about cycling going uphill. You see the beautiful view.
Alright Zahid, how are you feeling right now?
Barai. I rather shoot in the blazing hot Sepang rather than this kind of morning ride, to be honest.
This is true horsepower, bro.
This is leg power.
So we were chatting this while heading up the hill with Qhalis as well, and we were talking about car cultures and our local scene. Now, tell me, what's the one thing you hate the most about our scene?
Oh, it's a very controversial question.
Very controversial.
What's the question again? Okay.
What do you hate most?
What do I hate the most? Okay. What do I hate the most about the scene is, I think Qhalis mentioned briefly just now. I'm not sure if the audio pick it up over our heavy breathing, but yeah, the one thing that I think it's not that we hate, but we rather stay on the positive side and work towards improving the part that I think our community is lacking is the togetherness. Because I started doing this media thing professionally when I was in New Zealand. So totally different scene over there. I can see togetherness across the range of age of car enthusiasts over there. So you can pull up on a Sunday meet at the track with your drift missile Sylvia, or you can rock up with your Corvette C6 or C5 or C Stingray, and you can just chat like. There's no boundaries over there, but over here I think one of the things that leads up to it is the economic and income disparity of the car enthusiasts. The lower, I would say, not to say they are poor or anything, but the lower to mid-income earner, I think it is quite harder for them to have project cars like the JDMs, like the Sylvias or Skyline or even Civic Type Rs.
Especially with the way the prices are going
Exactly.
now.
Especially now, yeah. So when then the higher up and probably some of the MLM boys can easily afford M4s, supercars like that. But yeah, Mustangs. Forgot to mention about that. But yeah, so what I noticed is that the that drive supercars, the higher ups, higher end sports cars, and the normal sports cars like the Hondas, EGs, EKs, they hardly mix. Yeah. So through our event and through our campaign on social media with our hashtag Lion Everything, we show what's that sound? We show that there is no boundaries actually. It's just perceptions and maybe some egos of certain groups of people. But through our event, I mean, we have connections with the higher ends punya owners, and we also from the grounds, from the roots of our community. So we try to bring the two groups together and we be the bridge between them. We touch base a bit about how the JDM's prices has been exponentially blowing up, but that actually, although it hurts most car enthusiasts like who initially can afford those cars but now cannot. But it actually brings one positive side that I saw.
What's that?
In the sense that now the higher up is starting to play with this kind of cars. Like before this, you always see all the only Sepang kakis, all the Kanjo guys who mod up the EK9 Type R or EG6 or something like that. But now we see that supercar owners starting to get into this market and just buy and restore and play with the car themselves lah. To them, although that car to us is expensive, but to them it's just small change.
Yeah. You know what I miss the most? I miss, you know, during your toilet breaks and your lunch breaks, right? When you jump onto your mobile phone, check out Muda and Qhalis for a variety of cars. There's nothing now.
Well, I still
They're
do
all
that.
gone.
I still do that, but truthfully, the ones that you look at nowadays are the SUVs, the 4x4s, because those are the cars that are still affordable, and car people are jumping into it because they're not going to be, let's be honest, you and I, all three of us here, we are not going to be spending a car that is worth 20 grand that we knew 5 years ago worth 20, 30 grand, 200 grand today. So we're definitely not jumping into that anymore.
Unless you are looking at vehicles as a form of investment, then definitely it's worth buying. But we are not that kind of enthusiast yet, because we know if we buy something, we're gonna enjoy driving, modding, and meeting people with it. But it's a very sad truth that people are starting to look at this kind of cars as investment lah. Yeah. To be honest, it doesn't start with JDM. It started with Porsche. I mean, it's not started with Porsche. It started with supercars lah, Ferraris and classic Ferrari. But people has been flipping newer gen Porsches, I think since 2010.
Yeah, 2012.
I think the JDMs are now exceeding the Porsche prices now.
Exactly.
And let's be honest, they're not better cars than a 911. So if for 300 grand, I am choosing between an Evo 8MR and a 997, even a Carrera 2S, I'm jumping into a 997.
Correct.
Yeah. The problem with that view is the people that are jumping to the GTR, to the Evo right now, has already owned a Porsche.
They already, yes.
So this Evo, the GTR is just a toy car for them lah. So
you might even end up seeing less of the cars on the road.
exactly, yeah. We met a few people lah. I mean, they grew up with JDMs and then moved to supercar because they can afford supercars now. Then they started to buy JDM again because that's their boyhood or childhood dream once upon a time. So we can't blame them lah, to be honest, because if we are in their position, most likely
we'll probably do the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's probably happening. I mean, you probably have met more higher up clientele of yours than who own maybe Koenigsegg or bespoke supercars. Then to them, GT2RS is just a toy car for them. While us at the lower end,
it is true.
It is a dream car. Die, we want to have that as our dream car. But for it's just different level lah. Depending on which level are you in, then you have to adjust your.
Which you know kind of takes me to the next question that I want to ask. Do you think it's somehow not just the hype, but also because of this disparity between analog cars versus the digital cars of today?
Well, okay, I've been lucky enough to have a fair share of driving both generations or even those in between from different years of these cars, and I personally feel that modern cars are pretty not basic, or rather similar to each other. It's just what's different between these cars nowadays are their marketing strategy. At the end of the day, you are, regardless of whether you're jumping into BMW or Porsche or Japanese Nissan or Toyota, basically you're buying something pretty similar. So even if you consider an M4 or a brand new Supra, which comes about the same price, not the new M4 lah, but the F82 and the GR Supra, they are pretty much offering similar kinds of performance for similar kind of money. And at the end of the day, it's whether you want to be inside the BMW or you want to be inside the Toyota. So of course, I'm not even comparing the Z4 lah, because that's, come on guys, it's just, you know, it's so 2020.
Ouch. First you insulted a Megane and now you insulted the Z4,
I'm not talking about your generation Z4 as well.
Waiting for you when
But yeah, so when you talk about analog versus digital, it's a different experience. You don't even have to go to the 80s and 90s, you just look at the early 2000s. These cars were still, I guess in a way, bridging in between. You still had I would say they are about 60% analog, 40% you know, your electronics. And yes, these cars are aging, and what's aging in them is not the mechanicals but actually the electronics. But the drive that you get, the experience that you get from behind the wheel,
more fulfilling, right?
It's just different. It's just different, and this is also the reason why prices are going up, because people are trying to go back to find the experience that they just cannot get with modern cars. And let's be honest, we are now in 2021. In just 4 years, EU is going full EV, and I assume 5 to 10 years moving from there, Malaysia is going to have to follow regardless. So with cars, we are constantly seeing Teslas, we are constantly seeing Taycans moving in and out. So yes, they are. I sat in a Taycan Turbo S, and that thing accelerates like mad, bro. But you know, at the end of the day, it's not just about pure speed, it's about the experience of behind the wheel.
I agree. I mean, I think if you look at the car ad that's available on Muda and Qhalis nowadays, it's quite hard to find a proper V8, V10, V12. They're all gone.
It's true, they're all gone.
They're all gone. You know, and with the way engines are being downsized and everything's going the path of forced inductions, that's all changed quite a bit. In fact, not too long ago, you were up on this hill reviewing another car, right?
Yes, I was up here with a GR Yaris,
yeah.
And my view with the GR Yaris was that, to be honest, that sort of gave a flavor of what is it like to have a modern car that has old school feel, which is nice. I'm not saying that it's going to feel like a previous generation Tommy Mäkinen doesn't, but it gives you hints of it. And because of that, you see plenty of them on the road, and BMW Toyota is, like, you know, fully sold out their allocation for the car. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you had a few running through as well.
It's amazing to see what the car is.
It's true.
They don't come cheap.
No, they don't. No, they don't. They're 300 grand a pop. And sure, some of them.
That's 997 category.
Exactly, that's 997 money. So it's at the end of the day, I guess, do you want something new, or do you want something to give you? It's all up to them. Yeah.
All right, guys. Next question: what cars do you guys own, and what's your current project car?
Okay, Zahid start this.
Zahid?
Yeah, because I have the least amount of cars between the two of us. I'm driving a year 2000 BMW E46 323 Ci. Yeah, it's an old car. It's my daily car and also my project car. So there's nothing exciting about that car at the moment because it is still full of problems and standard expected old car problems.
You mean?
Huh?
That's called character.
That's one way to put it. Yeah, that's one way to put it.
You don't have to talk about character. This is an alpha guy. It's all about character.
Man, you insulted my Megane, Z4, my alpha. The guys are gonna run you down on the way.
Yeah. So there's nothing interesting about that car, but probably the most interesting thing about that car is I have never dreamed about owning that car.
Yeah.
And I've been actually been
We were
given
all surprised, to be honest.
an opportunity to drive an E46 M3 CSL even.
Yeah.
And I just throw that away and then focus on my dream JDM R34 at the time. I got to drive for few kilometers, and few months later I bought a 46 coupe, so
He was actually very upset.
Yeah.
The fact that he didn't drive a 46 SL.
But what's the most special thing about that car?
okay, what's the most special thing about that car is it's probably okay lah. Not probably lah. It is the first car that I bought with my own money. So previously I owned two other cars. First is Honda Civic Shuttle, which was inherited to me by my senior in New Zealand. Then my next car was my Vios, Toyota Vios 2006. I probably died before the car, but apa nama ni? I wanted something sporty. I wanted something to be a reflection of my personality, so I chose that car. And I bought that car with my hard-earned money through building up NoEqual lah, basically. Yeah. So that's the most special thing about that car. Yep.
Well done. Well done. Qhalis, what about you?
Okay, funny story. A couple of cars, none of which are done. Well, at least the project ones lah. So my daily is I bought a daily X50 Proton, very good car. And the reason is this, because when you have project cars that doesn't seem to get done, you really need one that just just forget about it. You don't want to do anything to it. There's no need for you to change your wheels or exhaust or remap or whatever. I was initially going to jump myself into a Mark 7 GTI, but then I thought, definitely I'm going to do something to that. So I just want a car that I don't have to do anything, and most importantly, I can fit my bike in it without taking off the front wheels. So that's a good thing.
My 46 can fit my bike, what?
And he got here earlier today than you did.
Bila duduk dekat macam tu lah.
Aduh.
No, I got to the RV point.
Yes.
Not here earlier.
It's okay, the edit can make you arrive sooner than us.
Hey, show us your wounds, man. Your battle wounds.
Yeah, this was a little bit funny story.
Check it out.
A little bit funny earlier. This is the problem with bicycles. So
when you're faster than a bike, right?
When you can't get off your bike without removing your clits, this is what happened. So yeah, so that's my daily. I have another Audi A5 as well, but I don't use that as often anymore because high mileage now. Trying to segmentize that that wear and tear. I've got a Honda EG6, which is getting built still. Bloody hell. Oh, it's pulled a bit. Okay,
Your chest hair showing again.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is sexy, bro. So yeah, I have an EG6, original EG6 chassis, blue tag, but kata budak-budak Honda. So yeah, that car is getting done. I sent it in earlier just before MCO, and hence the answer why the car's not done yet as well. So because of that damn car as well is the reason why.
Alasan.
Yeah, betul alasan. But because of that damn car is also the reason why I got into bikes, because you can't go out for drives anyway during MCO, and everybody got into bikes just about that time, And in a way, it was a good time to lose weight lah. And yeah, so.
And you've done very well. You've done very well, I must say.
Okay, thank you. Could be better. Now it's all just about cycling and eating and coffee. Yeah.
That's the problem.
And NoEqual, we all co-own a SUPRA GTI, which we are building through a content series called Mods 101. I know most people are going to ask what's happening to our episode, but truthfully, it's because we have a lot of our sponsor partners who own workshops, and much of the shooting has not been able to do. We've not been able to execute the shoots because of the pandemic. So we're supposed to launch our episode this week, the second episode this week. So yeah, stay tuned to that.
All
You
right.
heard that here first.
Hopefully this come up before our episode.
I won't be surprised actually. Yeah, so yeah, we have a couple of cars. Internally within the NoEqual team, we have a few cars as well within our crew, our friends, and sort of in a way, I have to admit, we are trying to be as diverse as we can. And there has been this funny swap between myself and Zahid, because he was a JDM guy and I was a Euro guy. I remember when we met, Darren, we were hitting Uluyam and I was in my Audi.
Yes.
S4 that time, you were in Magan.
Yes.
I was like, what the fuck, man, this shitbox Honda going up, passing me on Uluyam, you crazy fucker. But Now I'm that guy.
You are that guy.
And Zahid has swapped into the Euro bandwagon. So
The funny thing about that is, okay, we bought our project cars roughly around at the same time. I think end of 2019.
around December. Yeah.
I bought mine below 30,000. I think Qhalis slightly above 30,000. But at the end of our project, when my car will be done, the most it can get is around 50,000. But Qhalis EG can go up to 80, 90,000 easily.
The irony of it, right?
Thank you for that. I have to thank the
Easily.
pandemic lah.
Yes.
But
So that's a bit sucks lah, because I could be that guy, but I don't see myself owning a Honda. Not because I hate Honda or anything. It's just I'm at a point of my life where I want to have only one car probably.
Oh, you sound
Daily
like a
and project
loyal
car.
man.
No, it's not
Like
about,
somebody.
I can
I have many cars, but one woman.
the problem is I can't focus with owning too many cars. For example, like the E46, it is my daily / my project car. Because I want to focus on that, I don't buy any other car, but I buy my bike. If I didn't buy this bike, that car will be tip-top condition.
Story of my life,
Yeah,
right?
he got a more expensive bike than I did, so that's the problem.
Awesome stuff. Okay, we're gonna wrap up with one final question for this segment, and then we're gonna zip down for the next part. All right? And it's all
That's
downhill.
next part.
Yeah,
Can't wait for the
downhill,
downhill.
pusing. Okay, if you were made the Minister of Transport today, what would you do? That single one thing that you would do for us petrolheads.
I rather have KBS as my portfolio rather than transport.
Everyone wants KBS.
Yeah. Because Ministry of Transport covers a lot more
Portfolio,
grounds,
yes.
a lot more elements,
Yeah.
which doesn't really goes back to enthusiasts, because as we know, our roads are crap, our infrastructure
So what
is
would you
crap.
do? Suddenly appointed the Minister of Transport, man.
Probably
This pandemic, we've seen things happen in minister posts that we've never seen before, so one can always hope, right?
We've also seen ministers.
to be honest, I removed the stupid yellow and red stripe on the road, on the corners, on the that thing destroy our suspension more than car guys going Uluyam or Sepang driving hard. That thing destroys the suspension. Yeah. Stupid. Sometimes like dashboard pun nampak macam nak tercabut, bro.
We use that to test cars. Nothing.
We don't. I don't think any of our cars, I mean any of cars in Malaysia comes with the Bose suspension, that magnetic suspension where you don't feel anything with the bumps.
Bravo 6x6.
Another thing, okay, I mean the government can only do so much about the roads. I mean the government can provide the smoothest road in the world, but ultimately cyclists also need to educate themselves on where is safe and where is not safe to ride. We can see, I think there's a few clips going viral these few days where a few cyclists drafting belakang lori besar, bro. It's very dangerous to do that. I mean, from what I see in that few seconds clip, the road is smooth. There is a motorcycle road, motorcycle lane, tepi dia, but why is not that? Why wasn't that cyclist go on that? And why is he endangering himself by drafting behind the ni lah? So cucuk angin. Cucuk angin. I mean, car guys like cucuk angin with car and car. But this is totally different. It's the probably weakest vehicle and the heaviest vehicle road you can get. So it's dangerous lah. I mean, yeah. So yeah.
That's good. Why don't we ride down and we will continue this at the next rest stop once we're done, and
Coffee,
we'll
is
call
it?
a day.
I want coffee.
Boleh. All right, guys.
Okay.
Ciao.
Guys, we're down here already after the ride.
Interesting right up. I can't say it could be any better, but it could.
Always good with a cup of coffee.
Definitely.
Now, I've got one question for you guys. Why bikes?
I'm gonna.
Why bikes? Okay. For me, personally, I feel that bike community and car community has overlapping similarities and overlapping enthusiasts within themselves as well. Even we ourselves have a lot of friends who used to be a racer in Sepang, now a racer on two wheels. Not even motorcycle, bikes. And they are doing very well on bikes as well. I mean the aspect of owning and being a bike enthusiast is pretty much the same about as being car guys, car enthusiasts, because you get those people who is extremely talented and extremely dedicated with even basic bikes, but can do very well, can go up and down Mayo Hill a few times,
6 times.
while people like me who own like race car or equivalent to probably a GT3 or GT2 or even GT3RS, but can even cycle without a stop up Mayo Hill. So the similarity is there, because I mean in car community as well, we have owners of GT3, GT3RS just owning just for the sake of owning. So that's me. I have no shame admitting that. I like the bike because it's beautiful. I mean, it is one of the nicest looking bike in the market. So yeah.
So it's about aesthetics. It's about the way it's engineered, the way it looks.
Yes. The bonus side, when I cycle, I feel good about myself. Especially, I mean, in 2019, I always work out at the gym, and since the pandemic hit, I cannot work out at the gym. So this is the least I can do lah.
So
to keep myself in shape.
You caught up a bit
The
today,
round is also a shape. I don't want that shape.
Round is also a shape. It's true. It's true.
What about you, Qhalis?
I got into bikes with the sole reason because I was a big guy. I still am. It's just that I had this ankle problem and I just couldn't lose weight. So the only thing I could think of was getting into bikes. But the problem that I had was I never learned how to ride a bike till I was 27 years old. So that's 27 years of my life never cycling ever. So when I got into it, it was a little bit of a challenge for me. I guess you know, when you've done a lot of things on cars, on four wheels, it's always good to explore something a little bit more different. And this was one of it that came to mind. And it's a different kind of thrill. I guess it's the same as why some of the car guys jump into super bikes, because they say it's a different kind of thrill. I'm scared to jump into super bikes, that's for sure. But going on to this, even riding, you know, going downhill, doing 40-50 kilometers an hour, it's you're in the elements. You know, you get the wind in your hair, in your eyes, in your face. It's very different. And because this is new to me, I'm not very good at riding. Then the thrill is very different as well. So my heart rate is always about 15-20% higher than most people because of that every time I jump into my bike. So yeah, but like Zahid said as well, a lot of the car guys are also into bikes because this is in a way, it's a bit like a spillover effect as well. Some of these guys, they are bored of seeing how the car culture's, you know, gone, how the car prices have gone up, and in a way, you jump into this because it's a whole different realm.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing as well.
It's not a cheap hobby.
Yeah, it's not,
actually.
let's be honest. There's no hobby that's cheap out there. When it comes to hobby, it's all about passion and I guess money no object. And these guys, they know how to exploit us.
They cost more than a Myvi.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, if you are cycling enthusiast, the hobby will not get expensive because you can always get a cheap bike then cycle, then push yourself from there. But if you are bike enthusiast, then you start tinkering, you start okay, nak tukar the ceramic BB, nak tukar oversized pulley, nak tukar chain, wheelset, the seat. So
you want to lose a kilo on the bike.
Snowballing from there.
So between bikes and cars, everything again is about carbon fiber, right?
Yes,
true.
exactly.
It's true. Or titanium.
All the three bikes we have here is carbon fiber.
The carbon. Yes.
Yeah. And that's also the other element with bikes, where what most people see, just like with cars, is just a shell with wheels on. But for enthusiasts like us, we value them very differently.
Yeah.
For most people who don't know about bikes, they may look like, you know, just another bicycle, but we three here, we know that each and every one of these 3 bikes here have very different characteristics, and that's the appreciation that, I guess, out of passion that we adore about these kind of things, and it goes the same to cars. So
Well,
it's a good feeling. So at the end of the day, it's doing about what makes you feel good, and if you can get healthy at it, why not, right?
Why not, right?
bonus point lah, bonus point.
Yeah, it's a
It
bonus
is.
point. Yeah.
It is. What bike do you have, and can you share a little bit about it?
Okay, mine is a specialized veg. I believe it's year 2019. I bought it used. The retail.
Pre-love. Pre-love. Yeah.
Huh?
Pre-love.
Pre-love.
Yeah.
The retail for this bike, fun. Interestingly, is more expensive than the purchase price of my E46. So yeah, that's why I said if I sell this bike, I can get my car done and be happy with it. But yeah, there's something about owning such a bike lah. It's like, yeah.
She's beautiful. What does she weigh?
Sorry?
What does she weigh?
I mean, on paper it should weigh about 6.9, but with my basic beach pedal, basic pedal, it should be around 7 something lah. Yeah.
How does it feel uphill?
This is an aero bike. It's not meant for climbing. So it's a good reason for you to say, alright.
When I got into cycling, I have this skepticism on why do people owning so many bikes, but when I took my aero bike uphill, then I learned the reason the hard way lah. Because aero bike and uphill, some if they have like strong leg can really outdo the bike itself, but me myself cannot lah.
You know, every Sunday riding up Mayor Hill, you meet one of the guys who is on his unicycle. His name is Jeff. You've seen him, right?
That guy,
That guy is
I've seen him a couple
amazing.
times.
Yeah,
He goes up Perez as well.
Perez as well.
Perez as well on his unicycle.
On a
It's crazy.
unicycle.
Yeah.
That's just crazy abstract.
That's the beauty about bikes, you see. It's not about the kind of car, it's not about the kind of bike you ride. It's about what you can do. It's all about, it comes back to you. So sometimes with cars these days, because they're so competent, you can, feed more power. Just a matter of just plugging your laptop in. You can get 50, 60 more horsepower out of modern cars.
Yes.
And there you go, you are 5 seconds quicker on Sepang. But not necessarily with bikes. So it's all about your fitness, your strength. But
it's about the driver, aka the rider himself.
We don't give a shit. We don't care because we're leisure cyclists. At the end of the day, I go for my weekend rides in the morning just to grab some coffee.
Yes.
Maybe get a bit sweaty a little bit. You come back, you see your Strava, you lose 500 calories. Okay lah, you got reason to eat nasi lemak.
It's all for the gram, isn't it?
We cycle not to bakar lemak. We cycle to find nasi lemak. Some people say like that lah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. What's your bike?
Okay, so I have a Trakimonda. It's an SL5. So it comes with this blue colorway. The reason why I took this because I quite like blue. So it only came with a 105 initially, but I upgraded it to a Altegra group set, mechanical, not Di2. It's a pretty stock bike, not as expensive as those here as well. But it makes me happy. This is actually my 4th bike ever since I got into cycling last year. So
in 1 year?
Yeah, in 1 year.
In 1 year.
So like Zahid said, earlier, it's like sometimes you wonder why people jump into different bikes, but actually different bikes give you different feelings, just like cars. So I came from a Scott. I had a Scott. Then I sold that. I got myself a Cannondale Cat 13. I found that to be too stiff. I barely rode it. Had it about a month-ish, then sold it off to another friend. Then pandemic, early in the year, lockdown.
Wait,
so
you sold a stiff bike to your friend?
yeah. Sorry, if Fatin's gonna be watching this, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but she picked up my Cat 13 and it's stiff. It's really stiff. You know, just as I was saying about those yellow lines in the city. On the Cat 13, it just goes. This one really kind of soaks. You know, the carbon frame kind of soaks.
Okay.
So then I got a foldie. That one is perfect for my city ride. And then this one, so I got 2 bikes now.
Awesome.
It's chill lah, it's nice. And yeah, we just did 100 kilometers. We went to Qhalis last weekend. And it was really comfortable. I was quite surprised. Yeah.
You got a good tan too.
Exactly, dude. This is all about the cyclist tan.
What do you think are the similarities between bike groups and car groups?
I think I just briefly mentioned about that. I mean the passion is the passion level between the hardcore car enthusiast and the bike enthusiast / cycling enthusiast is roughly the same. When you are so into the bike, you throw all other things, you throw your reasons and just buy whatever you think that will make you happy, even though sometimes it doesn't reflect in your Strava performance or anything. But yeah, like myself, I believe by owning this bike I will be happy. Although many people would say that this bike is way beyond my stamina level, but I mean, owning it makes me happy. So same as owning the 46 make me somewhat happy lah. But yeah, if you like something, just buy lah. It doesn't matter how useful it is to your life, how how much benefit does it bring to your life. Yeah. As long as you like it, just we live to make ourselves happy, not others. So
you know, oddly enough, right, when you go for your weekend rides and you bump into all the groups of cyclists and the peloton groups, they're not, oddly enough, they're not too different from the car groups.
It depends. I find that cyclists are a lot more friendly. They're a lot friendlier than car groups, but that disparity will always be there. Orang Melayu kata tak kenal maka tak cinta. So I guess maybe because of that. So maybe if you know the guy, or you ride a nice bike. Same goes that you ride a nice car. You drive a nice car, then people will be like, "Hey bro, nice bike," kind of thing, or "Hey bro, nice car." But if you are, it's peacocking a little bit lah, maybe. But but the community is there. It has existed even before. It's just now it's exponentially grown.
Yes.
And
since the
maybe there is a little bit of that similarity, because at the end of the day, the guys who are jumping into bikes are also car guys.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe. So on a weekend you can go to KL and you can see the guys on fixies. You can see the guys
You've
on
got the gang
road bikes.
foldies,
Yeah, you got the foldies.
you've got the road bikes, the mountain bikes.
I guess maybe because I'm just like that, so every time I'm riding I see a guy on foldie, be like, "Hey, hello, good morning, you know." There's nothing wrong, you don't lose anything about being friendly.
Yeah.
But maybe some of the guys, there is always like, maybe whenever I ride a foldie, I always get like these guys on road bike maybe a little bit membuka ketat. You know, macam like
it's not muka ketat bro, dia baru naik bukit.
Betul, but this is the thing that people don't realise. So if you know the guy, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you ride a foldie or you ride a road bike, you drive a Myvi or you drive a Ferrari. It's all about the love and the passion for what it is.
I think the biggest similarity between all this group of people is memang rata-rata semua kaki scam bro. Kalau weekend ride, kata santai ride ke santai drive ke, it never santai. Seorang tarik memang semua berdesup. Lepas tu yang tinggal kat belakang macam people like me. It's not fast enough, it's not slow enough, so sorang-sorang just layan view. So car guys ke bike
sama juga
chill
drive je ni bro.
Sampai tarik lepas tu hilang kan.
Dia kalau apa nama ni, lagi-lagi kalau yang tukang tarik tu bunyi pakai maybe di i2 ke e-tap ke, bunyi dengar dia tap ni kan, downshift ke apa kan.
Lepas tu dengar bunyi hau. What's your weekly goals? Cycling goals.
I target to ride at least 100 kilometers a week. I don't really do that enough these days. Maybe because we're getting busy again. I have a indoor trainer at home, which helps. But the feeling of cycling indoors is not the same as cycling outdoors. So once I take off the bike from the trainer, I've not actually put it back on, because number one, hassle. Number two, it's just you get a very different feeling.
Correct.
So I guess as long as I get to ride once or twice a week, average of about 30 kilometers a ride, I'm happy.
Okay.
I'm happy. Yeah.
Any particular goals that you have moving forward?
Maybe I do want to go touring on bicycles. It's we have friends who have cycled from KL to Melaka, some of them to Langkawi and even Penang. So it's interesting, but the thought of it is crazy.
Panas, bro.
Yeah, so would love to, but maybe not in this weather. I would love to go overseas and ride. That's something that
Long-term goal.
Our circle of friends, we've been talking about it, but not with the borders closed right now. So maybe when it's done, we should do that.
I actually have I've downloaded all the cycling maps in Japan.
Okay.
That's my bucket list one day.
Yes,
because I've got
definitely.
friends who've gone to Busan to ride, and Japan as well. You've got beautiful roads and winter. Oh, man.
Perfect.
Cool
You're
weather.
not going to be sweating
I
like
could
that.
ride out the whole day, man.
Exactly. You're not going to get a tan like this.
And they got beautiful roads there
Exactly.
too, right?
Exactly.
What about you? What are your weekly goals? And what do you aim for?
I don't put any goals actually, because this is just a casual thing for me. I think I prefer my workout style. I prefer workout with weight rather than focus on my cardio. Back then, when I work out in gym also, I normally just cycle for about 1 hour, then start working on the weight, because I mean, it's not like I hate cycling or anything. It's just in my area, Bangi area, I don't really have much friends, cyclist friends. So usually they start in Shah Alam or in Alam, go towards those Kuala Selangor ke Federal. So it's a bit troublesome for me to go. I mean, drive to KL, then
You could do the tour di Bangi.
Tour the Bangi.
Yeah.
That I normally around Bangi, I cycle around 20 to 30 kilometers on weekend. So that's about it for me lah.
And he highlighted very important fact that actually riding alone and riding with friends is very different. It's just like driving as well. It's a lot more fun riding with other people. So before this, throughout this, lockdown, they allowed us to ride. So I used to ride solo coming here from home. It's not that far, about 15, 20 kilometers coming from home to here. But doing the same thing with friends has a whole different feel. You're laughing, you're smiling, you're waiting for them at the traffic light, or going uphill.
Should we go uphill again?
Huh? You can go. I'm putting my bike in the car. See up there. So that feeling is very similar to driving as well.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe regardless of whatever mode you're on, it's about the togetherness.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There are times where I mostly prefer to ride alone, because I like to explore and wander around. So when we go with some of our friends is performance freak. So they always want to improve their PR in certain segment, stuff like that. So, but I like to chill ride, just cycle around and finding location to shoot. And that's the thing, one of the things that I like about cycle as well, because you normally take the road that we not usually
We don't see when we drive.
Exactly. So through this hobby as well,
You explore more.
I want to explore more. So the problem with riding with my fast rider friends, so I can't explore. Otherwise, like just now lah, I sesat kejar korang. So those are some of the things that makes me prefer riding alone lah. Riding with friends is fun, but
But the stress are the same performance.
when you are dropped, it's not fun anymore.
Especially on like Federal Highway on the weekend at 11 in the morning.
Ya, betul.
And you're like doing 33 and the friends are doing 38, 40 and you're like drops and you're like, why do I have to drop a gear? The wind. To be honest, I hate headwind more than I hate hills, because that's like a mental thing. You're on a flat land, but you're dropping a gear and you're like,
Well,
why am I going slower?
It's also about the weight, right? So nothing Madone SLR with Dura Ace,
Perhaps.
gear sets,
Perhaps.
and lighter wheels won't help.
Yeah, exactly. Like for example, my wheel set is heavy as hell. This is a stock wheel set, and I'm pretty sure if I change to a carbon wheel set, I could probably lose half a kilo easily, and that'll put less wattage on the same speed that I want to do with them.
Yep.
So then have
slowly.
fun lalu crossfit ni.
Betul, but then you get it. So it's thrill lah.
It
The
is.
thrill is very
It's
different.
Next question: day rides or night rides?
I don't know. For safety, I prefer day rides. Night rides, okay, there's nothing wrong with it, but sometimes, okay, I think during night rides I punctured twice already. so benda tu, sometimes some of the things you don't see on the roads, you don't feel on the road when you're driving, but the obstacle, that just small debris, small pebbles or anything is there. So with this bike, especially with thin tire, you can feel literally everything, every bump, every stone, semua kecil-kecil you rasa.
And you're on a carbon frame.
Yeah, exactly. So when you langgar, even at slow speed, it could puncture your tire. So
Very true.
I prefer daytime lah, so boleh maneuver around the obstacles and stuff like that. But I don't like the heat lah.
You?
I prefer daytime as well, but morning before 10 a.m.
Yep.
Before the sun goes out. So there's this sweet spot where you start riding around 6:15, 6:30.
4:30?
It's a bit too early.
Try
Depending on how
4:30,
far you're
it's
going.
good.
Depending on how far
4:30
you're
is
going.
good.
But chasing sunrise is always fun. And usually morning is still cold. The weather is still nice. So there's a bit of enjoyment there. So definitely morning rides. But for safety, I feel like night rides in KL are better because there are less cars.
Yes, correct. That's very noticeable.
Yeah.
Although the bike lanes are usually clogged with cars parked on them.
It's true, it's true.
Okay, what do you love and hate about riding on our roads?
Oh, so many.
Hmm.
So many.
Just one each.
I think
Love and hate.
I think that over here, average drivers in the city are less concerned about cyclists because probably they consider cyclists as a nuisance on the road.
You've
which
politically cleaned up that description.
Yeah,
very nice.
so
less concerned.
So maybe we are, you know, but I think because I'm also a driver, I'm a keen driver as well, so I tend to make sure that, you know, we respect each other.
Yeah.
But there are drivers out there, buses out there especially, who just drive past you at speeds and you can't go fast, let's be honest, in the city. How fast can you go? 20 kilometers an hour, 22?
Yeah.
And most of these buses are going 40, 50 and they're big things and you're on your bike lane and then sometimes like you got like old uncles coming out of junctions in KL, you know, 7 a.m. in the morning and they main keluar aja, you know. There's I guess they're less concerned about cyclists because they treat cyclists a little bit like motorbikes as well, nuisance on the road. But yeah,
So there's a lack of awareness about cyclists, yeah?
Yeah, so overseas, I think they've been trying to develop this awareness and it's a good thing as well that there are more cyclists here in Malaysia as well. There's a possibility that prior to me being a cyclist, I was probably one of them as well.
You did say you didn't like cyclists.
So I don't know. So but yeah, hey, you know, that's life. You know, you evolve and you start to take awareness and your eyes open. So then you become a little bit more aware of your surrounding, which is, you know, hopefully a positive, you know, improvement.
What do you love about our roads?
I think we have no limitations on where we can go here. I'm pretty sure there are cities out there who are not as cyclist friendly. For example, maybe Vietnam or whatever. I'm not too sure. They're not as
legally we cannot ride on highway lah.
Yeah, but we legally we can't ride on highway, which we don't anyway. But yeah, that's something for us to adore about. I think our roads here. And to be honest, as long as you are riding on a weekend before 9 a.m, the roads are pretty clear. Yeah. The roads are pretty clear. And what I miss is actually car-free morning. There used to be car-free mornings every Sunday, it's like twice a month every Sundays. And I did go for that last time, which was nice. But
there's a car-free Dataran Merdeka.
Yeah,
Sunday.
True. So hopefully we can do more of that.
Yeah. What about you? What do you love and hate about our roads and cycling?
I think there's nothing I love riding. I mean about our roads lah. I mean, okay, the problem with our roads is the condition itself lah. Some parts it's too sandy, so we can easily lose traction.
I've had a couple of those.
Riding on gravel. So some parts you get suddenly big manhole covers in the middle of the road, and I mean our speed probably max on that kind of road, probably around 30, 35. But that kind of speed, without any protection, if we langgar, then something bad is bound to happen lah. Then this masuk lagi inconsiderate drivers. Like we saw, I think 2 weeks ago, one, I think Viva or the other driver,
The red color one, yes.
I mean they don't ram lah, but they langgar sikit pun. But when kereta versus unprotected bicycle cyclist, so the outcome is very.
I've had a few run-ins myself, just cycling on a road, even in a suburban area, far left, and you get cars coming by close intentionally, and they're honking away. They get very upset with you. I don't know why.
During my Malaysia day, I was almost T-boned by crossing apa nama ni, motorcyclist. Dia lawan arah. I tengah speeding because my way is green dekat intersection T junction. So I was speeding just to clear myself. Then suddenly this motorcyclist langgar lampu merah, almost T-bone me. Macam holy shit, man. So close. So close. Yes. Plus my brake is fading, so.
Time for some CCRGs.
Holy shit.
Scary
okay.
lah. So,
if you were made Minister of Transport today, what would you do for cyclists?
I'd probably make morning weekends quieter for them. So, you know, I'd increase the radius of the car-free mornings and I'd make it every Sunday. Maybe not all both days. You know, it's not fair for drivers, but I would make it, you know, maybe before 9 AM, you'll cyclists 6 to 9 AM, you can have the city to your own.
You mean car-free Uluyams?
Car-free Uluyams would be crazy. You see, I don't want that because I don't cycle on Uluyam. I'd rather drive on Uluyam. So maybe not so, but yeah, in KL, yes, definitely. At least you make it safer, not just, you know, in a secluded area. Yeah, but as long as the cyclists also respect drivers as well, I think that's also very important.
Needs to go two ways.
Yeah, it needs to go two ways. Yeah.
How about you?
I'm not sure if the idea that my answer is within jurisdiction of Ministry of Transportation, but one thing I would like to have is for the government and probably some financial institution allow us to insure our bike, because this is basically the kind of money that people throw on cars, and we can insure cars, but we can't, as of now, we can't insure bikes. Some of our bikes, some of our friends' bikes cost even more than a MyV probably. So, but the problem with that, I mean, with the combination of bad infrastructure of our roads, inconsiderate drivers, so some accidents bound to happen beyond the control of cyclists. So, I would like for us cyclists, some part of me, would like to have some assurance, some coverage if anything happen that is beyond our control lah, basically.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So yeah, good stuff.
I mean, macam our friend of a friend just got into accident with her S-Works SL7.
Yeah.
Crack frame, bro.
That's like what, 57 grand?
51.
51,
Yeah.
yeah.
No insurance coverage or anything. Shit, man.
But then of course, the guys up there would say, if you can afford that bike, you can afford that one.
Yeah.
Aduh.
I mean, kalau crash sendiri tu padan muka, bukan padan muka lah. I mean, cannot do anything. You cannot claim against someone else lah.
What he said, I mean, overseas they do offer it.
Yeah.
Like for example, Rafa offers under RCC program, they offer insurance, bike coverage, and also your basically self coverage as well for your rides in case you get into a bike crash. And some companies do have their CSR, where for example like NV, they have crash replacement program 1-to-1, or some of the like
lightweight as well.
Lightweight, and also like 100%, they give you 50% or 70% off your sunglasses in case you get into a crash, which is good. I think that is the kind of CSR, corporate social responsibility, that they do towards the community. But this is on a global basis, but we are hoping that locally I guess
can be
you
done.
know something can be done as well.
Government really need to start paying attention to cycling industry because you can see in MCO itself.
It's growing.
Oh, it's
growing.
crazy.
The business is growing,
There
and
are no bikes for pre-order until next year.
exactly. And I mean, for our idol like Dato' Azizul Asniawang is one of the sure athlete that can score medal in global sports arena. So why is government not paying more attention to the
develop the sport, right?
to the grassroots level? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we don't expect government to,
Sponsor?
bagi rebate or sponsor 300,000 bikes like Dato' Azizul, but at least
30,000 pun okey.
not, at least let us insure our
Okay
bike.
though.
30,000 I can buy another bench.
It's the same that I still wonder till today.
Yeah.
Why aren't there any insurance programs for cars that go into Sepang? For track days?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they do that. They offer that overseas.
Yeah.
But over here, I've spoken to some insurance, insurance heads. I say let's develop this.
Yeah.
Because we NoEqual, we also organize track days and say let's develop this.
Yeah.
But they don't want to jump into it because it's either
The
because
risk
there's no
appetite
government
is too
incentive,
high.
and of course the risk itself,
Yeah.
and there's no government incentive. So if maybe KBS is probably the right entity to come into play.
I think the fundamental problem with that is these governments, bodies or anything, they saw us enthusiasts as community. So they see us doing this as a hobby, as a side hobby. But this is, I think we ourselves need to present ourselves more than community. We are an industry.
Yeah.
Like car industry, track day is an motorsport industry. Cycling is cycling industry. So we bring revenue to countries as well. I mean, of course, all these bikes, expensive bikes, is
economy.
They're
taxed.
taxed.
Yeah. So the product, the accessories, all taxed. So it all gives back to the country. So why is the appropriate governing body is not paying attention to even cars or cyclists?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree?
The truth is, I guess now we realize that regardless of any mode we jump into, we still fall in that same problem.
Yeah.
Where we find that we, on the grassroots level, we do not get the kind of support that we need to pursue our hobby, our interest in these kind of things, which is slowly and on a daily basis growing. It's growing to the country's GDP, but that's the reality. But we do it anyway because hey, at the end it's our passion.
Because we love it.
Yeah, because we love it. So maybe that's how they exploit us.
Wonderful. So that ends our questions and interview session and segment. We're going to move to the last final part, which is our quick fire questions. What's your all-time dream car?
GT3 RS 4
F40. Dream, not achievable.
Built or bought?
Bought.
Turbocharged or naturally aspirated engine?
NA.
NA, definitely.
But fuck, F40 is turbocharged.
Favorite F1 team?
I don't watch F1.
Red Bull. Max Verstappen, bro. Siapa? Dia apa?
I don't watch F1.
Aduh.
It's true.
Juki or track?
Sorry, what?
Track.
Juki or track?
Track, obviously. Yep. Safe.
Best car you've ever owned so far?
Just GK5.
I only own 3 cars. And all is not fast and old and braking. So Vios lah. I probably die for the car. Most reliable, exactly, yes.
Satra GTI or EG6?
Satra
EG6.
E30, E46?
46, obviously.
R34 or Supra?
R34.
Good tires, bad suspension, or bad tires, good suspension?
Bad tires, good suspension.
Bad tires, good suspension, yeah. You can have a lot of
Do you
fun.
guys see yourself owning a 4x4?
Possibly. So I can fit my bikes.
I'm about to inherit my father's Pajero, so definitely in the next.
That's a sounding yes. Final one. Road bike or foldie?
road bike. I should have answered Foldy. I prefer Brompton. But oh well.
Right, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining
It
us.
was a good ride.
I think it was a great session. Very cool, chill, relaxed, santai.
It was alright.
Yeah.
Quite a panas.
Shall we go for another round too?
Why not? I'll see you up there.
Well, thanks for joining us, and we enjoy having you guys. Till the next one. We'll see you guys. Peace out.